Yeah, I'm not sure if I managed to start a stream or not. I think I did. I will see soon if I show up on the screen here. Yeah, it's a little bit of latency, I notice. So, for some reason, I can't see the possible chat in my OBS at the moment. So, I don't know why that disappeared. Um, so, how will I do that? Sorry. A little bit of testing here still. Yeah, and I have my cat, Marshall. His name is Marshall. I didn't name him. I got him from someone who doesn't live anymore. So, but he is very talkative. It is very difficult for me to see the. Yeah, if I don't think there are any here at the moment, so it doesn't really matter. But I can't see the messages. So I don't know what to do about that. But anyway, I will have to go back and forth and just check out from time to time, I think. Looks like it. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. I have to log into my YouTube account. Just a minute. So, I'm learning something every day. Um, and also, I need to find another stand for this microphone because everything I do is amplified by the. Yeah, let me see here. This wasn't easy. I'm sorry about this. This is my first time. I thought I had everything going when I tested this yesterday or Friday or whatever it was. But for some reason, it's not working. Um, Now it was working, so now I'm finally in. Yes. Um, there are, of course, no one here, but I still can't get messages. I don't understand this. So, oh, I don't know what's happening now. Yeah, I guess there is someone watching, but I still can't get the chat up and running. So I don't know what to do about that. Yeah. But anyway, sorry about all this. I will talk about the guitars um, and I've made a list. I started playing guitar when I was 14, 15, the year I turned 15. And what happened was I had a couple of friends that were playing in bands, and they needed a keyboard player. So I decided, okay, let me try to learn the keyboard. So I went to this neighbor of us, was a really good piano player, and I decided, okay, I will learn from him. And I did not have what it took. Yeah, I really didn't understand that instrument at all. And it didn't. There was nothing about it that really inspired me. I think I had a dream from I was younger to play the violin. Um, when I was a kid, I used to listen to this Norwegian violin player, Arve Tellefsen, and I really loved what he did. Of course, I didn't know what tone was back then, but yeah, he sounds good. Uh, but anyway, my friend, one of the guitar player in the band ended up, he was going to buy a new guitar, so he was selling his. And at the time, I had a 12-foot sailboat or dinghy, Europa Jolle, Europa class. I don't know what you call it. It's not an easy boat to sail for someone who has never sailed before. Anyway, I had that boat, and so I decided to sell it, and I bought his guitar. And yeah, now I started talking about the list. You see, I've made a list of everything I can remember that I've owned. Uh, Guitar equipment, guitars, everything that I've owned. I've not counted cables and stuff like that, but more major things. And um, yeah, so that is what I'm planning to talk about. But anyway, I bought that guitar, and I don't remember what happened first actually. I think what first happened is that my cousin gave me a cassette tape of Joe Satriani, Surfing with the Alien. I didn't know it was Surfing with the Alien. He didn't know who it was. He just gave me the cassette tape, copied from something else. And I remember going to the beach where I lived and listening to that on my Walkman. And oh, I want to play like that. I want to stand on the stage and play this. So so I bought this guitar and I started playing, and I didn't have any gear, of course, other than that guitar. I don't have a picture of the guitar, I'm afraid. It's a Vantage. I'm not sure, vintage, but with an A. Vantage X88 or X99, I think. It's without a trem system. Two humbuckers, a lot of switching options, and um, neck through construction. It was almost like a rubber neck. It was so soft. Of course, I didn't know that at the time, but yeah, I've noticed that later. Um, so I was thinking should go through the gear that I've had, start to talk about that, and if there are anyone watching directly, you can ask me questions and yeah, whatever you would like to do. Relevant questions, of course, but I will just start talking about the gear and show a little pictures of this. So let me just find the. Yeah, let's start with this picture. This is, of course, my current main guitar rig. I have to put on Don't Disturb. This is what I'm currently playing. It's the Bogner Ecstasy 3534. One of those that you can see here. And 1x12 Bogner cabinet. And my Tyler Burning Water. and this is my pedal board. Or at the moment, this is on a Pedal Train Metro 16, but my current board is a Metro 24. So instead of the Delverp, I've got Starlight and Golden, and I've also got an extra Lele volume pedal instead of that boost pedal from Supro. But other than that, it's the same board with the wireless and everything. So that's what I'm playing now. Mostly when I go live. Of course, I have all this wet dry wet thing as well, but it's not often I actually use it outside of this room. So yeah, so that's what I play now. But so this is a journey. My first amplifier was this. Oh, I thought I was very clever now. My first amplifier was this. Yes, it's a Fisher cassette deck, cassette recorder. It was really cool because it had two inputs for microphones on one of the sides, I think on the left side there. And so I could plug my guitar. My first distortion pedal, I don't have a picture of that, but it's a Boss HM2, the heavy metal. I plugged that, and I think it's PSK or something, chorus that I got with the guitar. So the HM2 with the chorus into that thing there. I'm pointing the wrong direction. I should be pointing there. There's so much to learn. That thing there. Yeah. Anyway, it sounded terrible, of course. I even knew that at the time. But me and a friend of mine, we actually recorded a song on that because you could plug in too. So he played a rhythm guitar and I played a lead guitar. And that was, if I had the recording, I would actually show it because I was quite proud of it, and still am, though I don't know it still. But there was something about not knowing anything. You know, I had to play melodic, so. Yeah, it was. So it had some qualities, but it sounded terrible, of course. So that's what I had for the first months. I bought the guitar early that year, so. And during the summer, I was on a trip with my parents to Germany. And I got this one. Yes. My first Marshall. First of many. Mostly when I find these types, it's the lead 12 I find. So, but if I manage to get a hold of a Reverb 12, I want to have it. It's not a good amplifier, but it would be nice to have back my first actual guitar amplifier. I don't know if it sounds good at all, but it was definitely an upgrade to the Fisher cassette thing. So, and that same summer, I got my first wah pedal, a Crybaby. My grandfather of all bought me a wah pedal for my birthday, so I got that the 6th of August that year. I think it's 90 or 89. I'm not sure. So yeah, I will just. Oh, that was the wrong. Just see if there are anyone online. Just checking if the chat actually works. No, for some reason it translated it, and I guess you can hear my cat as well. He is talking all the time. He just wants me to cuddle him. So yeah, that's the Marshall, first Marshall. And then, not long after, that fall or autumn, I had a week of work training through school because we had, it was part of school to work in some company for a week. And I got to work at the local music store, of course, that was very cool. And I was mostly just sorting cassettes. But there they had this amplifier that I really wanted. It was so cool. So every opportunity I got, I went to the back room and played it and listened to it. And that is this amplifier. Lab Series L7 4x10. And that is a really good amplifier. It's solid state. I know that I think Lab Series is originally a Gibson brand thing. I'm not sure, but I haven't really looked into it much. But I know that. The name. What was the name? BB King, of course. BB King played at least the L5, and this became my amplifier for quite a while. Later on, I've got help from my dad to put it in a head case. He made his head case for me. It was so ugly. It was so bad, but it worked. And I bought a Marshall Silver Jubilee 1960B cabinet for 4x12, straight 4x12, that I used together with that amplifier. And of course, I thought it sounded great. I had still the HM2, the heavy metal. Yeah, and the Vava and the reverb in that. And then, Ash. Yeah, no. I'm just looking the wrong way when I'm looking at the picture. I'm looking at the other side. I will clear things up at another time. Next live chat. Or it's not much of a chat. It's me talking, but it's so good for me. I have a lot of good friends that I love guitars and guitar gear at least as much as me, but they don't love talking about it as much as I do. And so getting to talk online like this. It is so good for me. It is just to and to keep my friendships. They don't have to listen to me if they don't want to. If they want, they can watch this and they can listen to me talking. Oh, by the way, I haven't forgot that I should play a little bit as well. I will continue the talk, but have to change it up a little bit. And yeah, the chair is bad. I tried also to, now you've got the sound of the guitar through the microphone. And I tried to use some noise gate to kind of get rid of this, but I'm not good enough with those things. I don't understand the equipment well enough, so I couldn't get it to work the way I would like it to work. But I do have guitar sound, and boy do I have guitar sound. This is my current wet dry wet setup, but I'm running it direct with the aux box, and I will come into the setup later on, maybe on a later video. I don't know. That's the clean channel. That's the blue channel of the ecstasy, and then the blue channel with the boost. Just have to hope that it sounds okay, because it's going to the red and stuff like that. I can't really, it's hard to get the levels up enough, loud enough. That was the red channel. And then, of course, with the boost. Yeah. And going back to the clean sound. This is the TC 1210. The doubler preset. And this is my micro pitch Eventide. And then together with my Shmoo which is the 1176 compressor, the Diatronics Tri-Stereo Chorus, and the Dimension D. And the micro pitch. We also have a Leslie cabinet. Without Leslie. With the Leslie, and then fast. So that's the Universal Audio waterfall. My circular delay here is the Universal Audio Precision delay. And then I have the TC2290. The stereo field was weird in the here. And then the Valhalla delay, dual delay. And of course I have the Lexicon 224. With the circular delay, and then also I have the Strymon Cloudburst. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I'm going back and forth here. It's that was the rig, just to give you a little bit guitar sound. I will go into detail about that as well. And just a little new check on the direct chat. Anyway, the L7 was my main amplifier, or my amplifier for quite some time, and then I got let me see here, this thing, the Boss ME5, and that opened up a new world for me. So I started using that alone. I didn't use the HM2 anymore. I just used the ME5. The cool thing about it is that all the effects are analog except for the delay, and yeah, there is no reverb. So all analog effects except for the digital delay. At that time, I thought it sounded magical. And actually, the MA5 stuck with me for quite some years. So I will return to that later in the story. I'm starting with these, the first years. I did, of course, change some gear, but it wasn't that often. I couldn't afford it, and that's kind of the story of my life. I couldn't afford it until the last few years. But hey, Marshall. So Marshall is here again. And yeah, I use this alone or in front of the amplifier, and where I live now, this town or commune, it's actually things have changed. But anyway, where I live now is where I'm originally from. But where I grew up and started playing the guitar is further west from here. Um, so just after I had finished school, a year after, finished the elementary school, or I don't know what you call it in English. Those, maybe it's high school. I don't know. We moved back here to Søgne, and so when I moved to Søgne again, the gear that I had was the Vantage, or I don't know. I had sold that guitar before I moved, and I had got a Vester. It's an Ibanez S series copy. So I think S540. I think it's close to it, 22 frets and HSS setup. And of course Floyd. I wanted a solo stick. That's what I called it. And of course, that the first thing I got, actually, I swapped the first guitar for a Lead Star. It's the worst swap I've done. Yeah, that was terrible. That was a terrible guitar, but I didn't have it very long. I got the Vester after just short time. So when I was finally ready to actually go on stage, which was actually the first, yeah, before my first Christmas after, but yeah, I had the new guitar, the Vester. So and I had, of course, seen Steve Vai on Crossroads doing his Vammy things. And that's what I thought you should do with that. So that's how I did it. So I broke a couple of those Floyd copies on that Vester, and of course got new one through warranty, because they couldn't understand how they could be destroyed. But I ripped them apart. So and after a while, when we moved back here, I also got my guitar teacher to help me install the Ibanez Edge in that guitar. That took a little more beating. So I played that guitar for quite a while. Yeah, a few years. That was my guitar, and my guitar rig was after when I got to Søgne, I also got got back here. I also got a new distortion pedal, and that was the Rat. So I had the Rat. I had of those big Ernie Ball volume pedals. I had a Crybaby and the ME5, Boss ME5, and into my L7 and the 4x12 Marshall. And that was quite a big rig. And I had all these pedals. We didn't have pedal boards in those days. It wasn't normal that people had those, at least. So I had this Samsonite suitcase, big chunky 70s work suitcase thing from my dad. Which I had all the equipment and cables and everything in there. I had this really, as I said, the head for the amplifier, the head case. So ugly, made by, I think, I don't know for scaling. What do you call that? I don't know the English word for that, but it was terrible. It was, and of course no handles. It was a rope, a rope to carry it in. So it was terrible to carry. And also my dad made a guitar case for my Vester. thick enough to put the guitar in with the whammy bar attached, and that was heavy as, I'm not saying those words, because of that was of course made of wood, and not lightweight wood. It was heavy, and again, no handles, just ropes, and of course some my parents were nice driving me and stuff like that, but they couldn't always. I had to get to where I was playing on my own. So I've had that rig on the bus. You know, my band was still where I grew up, so I had to travel back to where I grew up by bus and have my gear with me. And of course, I didn't live right by the bus stop, so I had to hitchhike. And hitchhiking with a 4x12, a top, or a head, chunky guitar case, and this suitcase. Yeah, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, but it was fun, and it was so cool to. Yeah, of course there were wheels on the 4x12, so I put everything on top of the 4x12 and I started pushing it, because I couldn't. I had to get to the road first, and then I had to hitchhike, and then from the bus stop to the rehearsal place, and it was, yeah, a lot of fun. So I'm doing things wrong here all the time. Um, yeah, it seems like it's still running. So yeah. So that was my gear, and then I think so. I think I had that gear from maybe late 90 or 91, maybe, I don't know, around there, until 94. Yeah, that it was still part of my it was still my gear, but I started to expand it, um, because I got this one. If I put the or pictures in the right order, yeah, I got the Marshall 9001 tube preamp with the foot switch. Of course, I didn't have a rack for it, and I didn't have a power amp for it. I only had the L7. Of course, it had an effects loop, so I could use the effects return of the L7. So that's what I did. I ran this Marshall into the effect return of the L7. I was quite thinking back that I actually figured out I could do that. I don't think anyone helped me figure that out. I think I figured it out by myself. So I had that. I had ME5 and still the same things, and still the 4x12 cabinet. So now I also had the preamp to move around. And so in 94 I ended up, that is, there are so many stories here that are fun to tell, but they're not that much about music, but more about my hitchhiking, because I was hitchhiking a lot with gear, and I was playing around all, I was playing in Kristiansand, where the closest big town. I was, and I moved to Kristiansand in '93 on my own when I was 18. So that's where I had this gear, and in '94 I moved to another place further east, and still had this. And at that time, when I was playing this, I was playing still the Vester, now with the Edge, Ibanez Edge whammy bar thing, the Marshall into the ME5 and the L7. And I started to play with a country guy. And at the time I also had an acoustic guitar. I don't like acoustic guitars, so I haven't had many of those, but I had an acoustic guitar. It was really bad. But I think it's the only guitar that made me money. So I moved to Kragerø, and I lived in Kragerø for some time, and every weekend we were playing different pubs and making money on that. And we had this band as well in Kragerø, and he played country rock thing. And then there was this guy who heard us, and he really liked the combination of the country and me. With I couldn't play country. I've never known anything about country music. I played rock in a country setting, and I think I think it's some of the same thing that Dan Huff has talked about. I'm not comparing myself to Dan Huff. That is that is important. But when he moved to Nashville, they wanted him to play because he had something different than all the country players. So he was still doing his rock thing in the country world. And I think that is what happened for me as well. They liked the rock thing and the country thing. But then I was invited to come play with this guy at Grand Ole Opry in Nashville. And I was 18. And I had to say, no, I don't want to go to Nashville, play Grand Ole Opry. Because I just didn't want to go on the world's greatest country stage or venue and then make a fool out of myself. So I kind of like having the opportunity to say that I said no to playing in the Grand Ole Opry. But anyway, maybe I should have. I could have learned a thing or two, I guess. But I don't think it would have been very good. Anyway. So, I had the same gear for quite a while. And then there were this cat. But his name is nice. His name is very good. This was 94, and I moved back to Søgne, and did anything change gear-wise? Yes, it did. So when I got back to Søgne, I finally... Yeah, hey. So here he is. This is Marshall. I will continue talking about gear soon. Yeah, but when I moved back to Søgne, I finally managed to build the rack that I had actually wanted. Oh, I forgot. Before I actually went to Kragerø, the Grand Ole Opry, I also got a Boss SE50. I will show you that. Because that became a part of the rack. So I built a rack with the Marshall 9001 preamp, the SE50, and I got Marshall Valve State 8008 power amp, the same power amp that I'm using here, same type of power amp that I'm using here for my wet dry wet. And yeah, it's name Marshall. It's a really good power amp. I think, at least for what I'm using it for, it's really good. But anyway, and I've got this 4-unit SKB plastic rack thing. I think it was 4-unit. Maybe it was just 3. I don't remember. I think it was 4. And I had the rack gear in there. But the problem with the SE50 was just half-unit rack, so it always looked a little off. I didn't like the look of it, but it was good. It was a good rig, and and my dad again helped me make something of the same kind of material he used for the L7 head. He then made. We took 2 of the speakers out of the 4x12 cabinet and made 2 monitors, but because that was the thing you were doing at that time. Every guitar player used to have those monitors in front of him with the guitar sound. That was the guitar rig. So I was probably the first in my area who got it, but yeah, everyone had those kind of rigs. I was kind of the most guitarists. It was the Marshall JMP1 was the thing, or the budget thing, because it was of course the Mesa Boogie Triaxis. None of us have heard about the Ada MP1, isn't it? I'm not sure. No, none of us had heard of that in our group of people. But so it was the JMP1 and the Valve State 8008, and then the Quadreverb, Alesis Quadreverb. That was the thing. But I had the 9001 preamp and the SE50, so my thing was a little bit different. And of course, I always felt it was worse. Little did I know. So I had that for a while. I don't remember when I actually got it built, but I think it was around 94 or during summer or something, 94. And then I guess it was at least a year I had that. No, I had longer than that, but before I went to music school further east, an internatskole, boarding school. Is that what you call it? I don't know. You live at the school, at least. But it's it's something we have here in Norway. I'm not sure it's very normal in other countries, but at least in Norway we have this kind of school where there are no grades. You just do what it's kind of a sabbatical, but with some school and structure. So what I went to was Viken Folkehøgskole, which is all music and some dance, but mostly music and music technology, at least when I went there. So I had this guitar rig there, and then, yeah, I want to take the story until I'm finished with this school. Yeah. So for half a year at that school, I used that guitar, that rig. But I had bought a new guitar, by the way. I think I have a picture of the guitar. Let me see here. Yeah. This is the guitar. That is not from the time when I... Oh, it's not possible to zoom in more. That's a Samick Valley Arts. It's from when Samick bought Valley Arts. It's got nothing to do with Valley Arts as far as I know. But it was a good guitar, I think. But at Viken, I finally managed to swap my SE50 for a quad reverb. And that was a downgrade. Yeah, that was a downgrade. The SE50 is really good. But the quad reverb was full size rack and it looks cool in the rack. Yeah. So that's what I did. And that's the first time I did a proper recording, I think, at Viken. And I noticed something that I didn't realize, that because I had my speakers in front of me, the monitors, and they were quite bass heavy as well, because they're quite big boxes. And my dad had put some ports in it, and there were no calculation on how they should be. It was just some holes. And when I heard my guitar mic'd up for the first time after playing it, I was just, this is all bass heavy and no top end. It sounded terrible. And then I played through a Mesa rectifier stack that was also at the school someone had. And the guitar was just open and nice, compared to my tone. And I was so tired of playing guitar and everything, and I was so tired of the never-ending tone chasing. I had just started, really. I didn't know what I was going into. But so I sold the guitar equipment, everything. And I was thinking, okay, what to do with this money? I sold it to someone here in my hometown, so I brought it with me for him in Christmas, I think, so he bought it for me. And then when I got back to school, I didn't have a guitar amplifier, or I did still have the guitar, I didn't have a guitar amplifier. And, I was wondering, do I buy drums or do I buy a new guitar amp? And I ended up buying a new guitar amp, and I bought a 4x12. So what I bought was an amplifier like this, the 50-watt version of the JCM 900 high gain dual reverb. And 4x12 slanted cabinet, matching it. And that is the first time I realized what a tube amp was. It was strange because it was almost like I had to learn how to play the guitar again, because it was so unforgiving. And I still had the ME5, so I just used that for a delay. I made presets with different delay settings, so that's what all I had it for, delays, nothing else. Still used the Rat. I did everything high gain with the amplifier, and I had a Rat just to have hair for the clean sound. So I actually used a Rat for low gain. I don't know how that sounded now, but it was a new era for me with guitar tone. Though the Marshall, of course, the 9001 was tube preamp. It was still not. It was not a tube amplifier, the tube power amplifier, and with the quad reverb that was messing everything up, and also the monitors. Everything was bad. It was not good. So I think that was the first time I had good tone. But when I got back from school, then of course, everything on the campus, or what do you call it, it was easy because I didn't have to carry the guitar rig around much. And if I had to, we had cars at the school that we used for those different gigs and stuff like that. So I didn't have to think about transport. But then I got back home, and the guitar teacher at my school had this amplifier. And that is the first, as far as I know, the first version of the Blues Cube from Roland. It's the BCB60. It is not very similar to the current Blues Cube series. This was a 2-channel amp with a proper lead channel, drive channel, loads of gain, and a clean channel with some different modes and stuff, and it had a built-in reverb, an effects loop, and yeah, so it did. And it also sounded huge. It was, the sound character was not far from the Marshall 900. So when I tested it, it was almost like, wow, it's the same sound. Of course, now I would have heard the differences. I would know what to listen for to see if this is something for me. But I didn't know at the time. So I ended up selling my Marshall stack and buying this amplifier instead. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful, except for when I was playing in bands. It just felt too small. It didn't move. It didn't move me. It was wonderful when I was playing alone and I was having a good time. But now, where it's summer 96, and I think I will stop the history there. And before I keep doing wrong, before I end this stream, it's funny to be talking to no one. But maybe you will be watching this later. I don't know. But before I finish the stream, I want to show my latest guitar. Um, because I haven't shown that on the channel yet. So this is my, oh yeah, James Tyler Studio Elite HD Japan. So I swapped it for my Luke, and it was in terrible the state. The setup was terrible on this guitar. The screws were in the wrong position and stuff like that. So luckily it hadn't been broken. Now it's perfect. All these four guitars here. Two of them are for sale, but maybe I can show better with another camera. Just a minute. Yeah. The yeah, you see the Albert Lee, and the Fender, and the other, Tyler. All those four guitars, including this one, are set up almost identical, and they're doing the same job. So the only guitar I really need is the Tyler Burning Water. That is my main guitar. It is wonderful. So I'm kind of selling everything now. But that guitar is just so good. That Burning Water, I just love it. So I can do everything with that. But I need a backup, and I've been trying to make that Fender the backup. It is a really good backup. It's got the same trem system. It plays really nice. It's got stainless steel frets, so it will last. But the neck is too different, and the nut width it's too wide. It's Fender. So yeah. So I decided to try to make the Albert Lee my backup. And I decided to sell the Fender. And the Albert Lee is also a very good backup. The vibrato system is dead on precise. The neck is very similar to the Tyler. The same nut width, similar profile. And it has stainless steel frets, so it will last a long time. But it's an SSS. But anyway, it sounds good. So with tone a little bit rolled off when I'm running the bridge pickup, it really sounds very similar to the Tylers. But then I got an opportunity to get this one, and now I have a Tyler for backup. So that's the best backup. And playing these two guitars, they are almost identical, though the necks are actually different. It's the same neck profile and nut width, but this one has an 11 radius, straight 11. The Burning Water has 10, a compound radius, 10 to 12, so a little bit different. Also the Albert Lee has a straight 10 radius, and the Fender has a straight 9.5 radius. So that's the differences there, but yeah. But this is so cool. It's got those slanted microphones. I'm not a big fan of that, so I probably will be changing the pickguard, sometime. But the guitar is good. But it does have the preamp, which my Burning Water does not have. So I want to just show you that. So with the micro pitch and the Schmo combination. of that guitar later on. But now I've been going on for more than an hour. If there had been some questions to answer, I wouldn't have a problem going further, but it is, yeah. There is not much going on here on the channel, so yeah. But that is fun. It's okay with me. I'm not here to. I'm mostly here to talk about this gear because I just love talking about it, and it's fun to go through the memories of what I've had, and it is getting wild. The first few years was kind of slow, and actually, but yeah, I will talk about that next time. I'm not sure when next time will be. I'm thinking because I've tried to make videos, but it is just too hard to. There are so many other things happening, and there's so much more work to make a video. So I decided to just start making these direct, live streams, because I get to talk about my gear. If someone wants to join me, they can talk. We can chat. So so I will try to do this as a weekly thing. Then I will only spend the time actually on the chat. So, but of course, I have to, before I finish, I have to make another cup of coffee because I moved my coffee maker in here just for the occasion. So, I'm not drinking enough coffee. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. I need some more coffee. Anyway. So, yeah, so sorry about that. So it's easier to just make the live streams, and this is really what I want to do. I personally, I love to join live streams and able to chat and ask questions. So it's it's a, what do you call it? Format. I don't know, that I like. So I will continue to. Probably this is a lot of noise and yeah, I don't know. It's good coffee. And then yeah, so I will do the live streams. I will try to do it weekly. I'm not sure if Sunday is the best day. I will also try to make it possible for both people in America and people in Europe to join the stream. So that's why I did it this late. But I think it is a bit too late. So I'm thinking of going Fridays because I really want to get myself to join the Pete Thorne stream. I usually watch that. And he usually does that on Sundays. So I guess it would be better if I did it another day. And of course I could do Saturdays because I'm mostly at home. But if there are any gigs, I know there will come some gigs that will crash with that. But so Sunday is the easiest time to actually make it work for me. No, it's one of the easier days to make it work. Of course, I can do in the weekdays as well, but because I don't start early in the morning for work, I could do that. We will see. But for now, I'm thinking Sundays or Fridays. There will be an announcement of the stream. So if you subscribe to my channel, I guess you will be notified. And if you turn on notifications. So yeah, I have the coffee now. And I have to do something about this. But thank you very much. I will end the live stream now, just checking just in case to see if there are anyone online. I can't. Yeah, maybe I should check one thing. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. See you or not.